Welcome to Scorched Earth and a general reading for the sign of Pisces, Sun, Moon and Ascendant for the month of February. I hope you're well. In a deviation from the norm, we are going with the wild unknown for you today. It's quite interesting. It's the first time in perhaps coming up a year that it hasn't been the shadowscapes that's wanted to come out. So no doubt there will be a reason that may become clear during the course of the reading as to why that is. Things to tell you, there will be an extended at the end of this reading, so if you're interested in looking at that, there's a link down there in the description box that will take you to Vimeo for that. And also I have done a 6-month overview for the first half of 2021 for each of the signs that are all up on Vimeo now. Ooh, excuse me. So if you're interested in that, there's also a link down there that will take you down to see those. They're very reasonably priced for what they are, so I hope that you will avail yourself of them. So I don't think I have anything else to say except thank you for waiting for me. I appreciate your patience. I disappeared rather without warning in the month of January, but really needed some time to rest, and it wasn't until I stopped that I realised that that was the case. So I appreciate you sticking around. Thank you very much. Right, I think that's enough shuffling. Let's have a look. Can I have 3 cards for Pisces, please, for February? Cards for Pisces. We have the Mother of Pentacles and the 9 of Pentacles, which is interesting. It's sort of carrying on a theme that's been coming across. I actually did the last Pisces reading for 2021 today. I'm sure it's the same 2 cards that came out, actually, now I'm thinking about it. But nevertheless. And current energy for Pisces, please. 5 of Wands in reverse. Okay. And what's coming up for Pisces? Thank you. Got the Moon and the Chariot. Now that's really interesting. I know I say that a lot. There's the 9 of Cups at the bottom of the deck, followed by the Ace of Pentacles. This is so absolutely consistent with the reading that I did for a personal client a few days ago who is a Pisces. The 9 of Cups is all about your personal fulfillment, right? It's your emotional well-being. And Ace of Pentacles talks about new opportunities. And being the shadow cards at the bottom of the deck, what they talk about is the importance of your personal comfort and your personal emotional stability and, ownership, responsibility, all of those things, being that which guides you towards new starts, new opportunities, right? It's a little less about everybody around you and more about you. Now that can be a foreign concept for a Pisces. Like, how do you segregate yourself? But it's going to become increasingly important, and the work that you did on yourself last year was absolutely paving the way for what's coming next, right? Really in terms of how you personally manifest new opportunities coming towards you, right? So tell me about this Mother of Pentacles and the 9 of Pentacles, please. Thank you. We have the Hanged Man. There you are. What was that? And the 3 of Swords. I'm going to pull one more for that because we had 2 for the recent past. Thank you. 8 of Swords. I don't know exactly where that's going. Tell me about the 5 of Wands in reverse, please. I need to know about that for Pisces. Thank you. King of Pentacles. And the Queen of Wands. And what about the Moon and the Chariot, please? We have the World in reverse. Moon and the Chariot. Moon and the Chariot, please. Thank you. Page of Pentacles. Let's get one more for that because there's 2 cards there too. Thank you. Yeah. 5 of Pentacles. We have the Ace of Swords here, and Pisces, before we even start, what is glaringly obvious is the absolute lack of cups here in this reading for you. Now, we have one here, the shadow card, and it's all about you. It's not about other people. It's not about how you relate to other people or how other people relate to you or how you bring value to people's lives or vice versa. This is all about you taking ownership of your happiness, your responsibility for your own happiness. But truly contemplation of what makes you happy. Who often when I talk to Pisces, it's always in relation to other people. Like that's how they measure their happiness. This is what's shifting for you. And it is profound. So the very first cards that we have here are the Mother of Pentacles and the Nine of Pentacles. Notice that we have another 9, another individual card. The 10s are the collective. 9s are all about the individual level. We have your individual happiness and your individual material well-being. Now this can refer to money, but it can also talk about energy, because just generally, because no, money is energy. We're talking about energetic resources, your energetic resources. And I think perhaps they've been a little depleted over the month of January. I certainly have been for me, for a lot of people. And this Mother of Pentacles here is the need to nourish, right? And perhaps you have been nourishing yourself, or so you feel at least anyway. This is a card of self-sufficiency and independence, and it feels to me like this is where your mind is starting to turn now, right? There is an appreciation that, well, just that there's a lot of other people involved in your life. Whenever you seem to try and make a decision, there's somebody else whose needs need to be considered, you know, and won't let you forget about it. But the Mother of Pentacles is all about bringing the energy back to you, nurturing it in you for your benefit, for the management of your energetic resources. The interesting thing that we have down here is the Hanged Man, the Three of Swords, and the Eight of Swords. And I have to tell you, there are a number of cards that have come out here that also appear in the February, in the 2021 readings, sorry. Thematically, it's carrying across really, really strongly. So we have you as the Hanged Man, and this is the most passive card in the deck. There is no movement here, and I think perhaps you haven't really felt like you can move around. I mean, maybe you're under some sort of restriction at the moment. I know in the United Kingdom most of us are, so it could well be that. But it feels to me more like a shift in the way that you look at things, right? I said before that Pisces operate kind of like the invisible web that holds, you know, dynamics together. And often they do it by subjugating their own wants, their own individual wants and desires and needs for the good of the collective, right? You feel other people's emotions, and to some degree you kind of take them in and scrub them clean and release them out again. But one of the things that does is not only keep you tethered to people who need to keep you around to do that work for them, but it also doesn't give you a sense of self. This is what I mean. It's always measured by the collective, what you can do for other people, not usually what other people can do for you. And that's incredibly restrictive. It's really interesting that across these three cards, the red on each of the card is the thing that's kind of pulling me together. It's like the right the way across here. It feels like you know it's time for a change and you are ready for a change, but as yet you haven't been able to identify quite how that is to occur. But this increasing awareness that what needs to happen needs to be for you and not others seems to be on your mind at the moment, right? And there is a shifting, there is a turning upside down, there is a looking at things the other way. You haven't quite got the hang of it yet though, Pisces. Not yet. The intent is there. The understanding is coming. But you haven't quite got there yet. Now, it runs a little deep for the purposes of this reading, but I'm just going to swing by it since I recognise the theme that's coming out in the cards here. in another way as well. And that is in the taking of other people's pain on, taking on of other people's pain, and doing that kind of energetic scrubbing thing that you do, and bringing in peace and healing and all those sorts of things to people. What it has done is enabled you to completely swerve your pain. This is why you're trapped. The focus being on other people all of the time stops you from looking within and examining the things that you feel have hurt you. And most of the time you may not even pay that much attention to it. You may feel like you're overreacting or you're being oversensitive, because let's face it, you've probably been told that your entire life. And for most of you, you have been taught that it is important that you do not put yourself first. In the doing so, it has left you in a place where you are unable to recognise your own pain, right? Perhaps because it just blurs in with other people's. There's something of a recognition of that starting to come here, and that's something that needs to change. Now, when we move into your current energy, we've got the Five of Wands. Now, it's in reverse, which is good, because this way around it talks about conflict, right? It's that moment when passion boils over into something a little more aggressive, right? But we have here this very peacemaking energy, right? The most stabilizing thing you can do to an inherently unstable card, which all of the fives are, is to flip it upside down. I feel like that brings an element of stability into it there. So there's a stepping down of conflict. For some of you, this is not your conflict. You've been acting as a peacemaker, perhaps. We've got a couple here. The King of Pentacles and the Queen of Wands. That's Taurus and Aries respectively, but it can speak to any earth sign and any fire sign, right? The fact that it's gendered doesn't really matter either, right? It's just about the masculine and feminine presentations of the energy. So it could be that you have been playing peacemaker here to some people that you know, and it could be parents, it could be friends, it could be siblings. I mean, it could be your own partner, actually. Because remember, you're more than just your sun sign. But the other thing that it could be is this could be different aspects of you. And if it is, then what we have a potential for here is a learning to live with other parts of you, seeing the value of other parts of you, right? We have the King of Pentacles, and he is about duty and responsibility, right? That's how he shows his love. But he is ultimately a provider, and he is very grounded, right? Here is the value of some really, really grounded energy. Now, of all the signs, you are the least needing to be grounded. It's not your place to be grounded in the same way that a Taurus is, perhaps. But nevertheless, some grounding is necessary. And this Queen of Wands here, she's a little less about responsibility and duty, and she's a little more about doing whatever the fuck she wants, whenever the fuck she wants to do it, right? She could arguably be quite tempestuous at times, but she is bold, and she's confident, and she's exciting, and she's adventurous, and she wants to go and see the world. I mean, maybe you want to travel. We've got these pyramids to the side of the Queen of Wands here, right? Just there. The conflict, thinking in a more abstract way, could be between staying where you are and going off somewhere else, because this is fixed earth. Something a bit more dynamic about the Queen of Wands. Let's pull some extra cards and see if we can't get some indication as to which way around it is. Tell me about the King of Pentacles, please. Thank you. Oh, King of Pentacles. Okay. Oh, you're so complex, Pisces. Tell me about the Queen of Wands. Extraordinary. We've got the Queen of Swords at the bottom of the deck, and that makes all sorts of sense because the Queen of Swords for me is someone who sifts information, right? The Page discovers the information. He gathers the information. The Knight transmits it, communicates it somewhere. By the time it gets to the Queen, she's the one who sits here and makes decisions about what is important and what is not. She is sifting that information, right? Because not all of it is going to be relevant. Not all of it is going to be useful. And I feel what she does then is pass it to the King. And the King arbitrates one way or another on this information that has been given here. But she's highly objective. Notice that still we have a preponderance of pentacles and swords and a smattering of wands in here too. Very, very little in the way of cups. You are trying to detach somewhat from the way that you have always done things, right? There's such a need for change here in you, Pisces, that you can feel it with every cell of your being, and you're kind of feeling your way through. But this is very, very new territory for you, right? So little steps for sure. Now underneath this King of Pentacles, what I got was the Five of Cups and the Hanged Man again. Now there's a sense of duty here, a sense of abstract duty to humanity almost, it feels like, to your fellow man, to be available, to be whatever everybody else needs you to be. And with this Five of Cups, there's a guilt with it. There's a guilt if you ever put yourself first. There's a guilt if you ever try and do what you want to do. If you ever try and run against the herd in any particular way, you're always stuck with this feeling. For some of you, you've been in a situation where things around you have changed. And there's a sense of loss here, but it's, again, quite abstract. Something has been lost, and there is grief for it. But if you try to articulate exactly what it was, it might be quite difficult to do. With this Hanged Man here again, though, there you are again. Trying to look at this whole situation from a different perspective. You're trying to see it differently, because under this Queen of Wands, what we've got, some dog hair, is the Two of Swords in reverse and the Ten of Pentacles. Right? The Two of Swords is a card I don't usually like because it talks about somebody who is ignoring their own emotion to try and make a decision. That's not happening here. There's a drive, there's an urge, there's a desire for movement here that is embodied in the Queen of Wands. And you are feeling that it is right. No? There's a feeling here, there's a nudge, there's that intuition that Pisces is so very, famous for, that is kind of pulling you away from that which you know, things that you are familiar with. And this feels really confusing. The energy of it is confused at the moment. The thing is, I feel like you're making the decision, right? And the decision is to move away from what it is that you have built for yourself, That's the family card sometimes, but other times it talks about commitment and longevity, having put so much effort into accruing all of these pentacles and building whatever it is. Do you really want to move away from it now? This could be literally your house, but it could be situations, right? This is commitment. This is I'm not really about this anymore. I want to kind of pull away from this a little bit. Now, the interesting thing is that right at the start of this, that Five of Wands was in reverse. Where there has been conflict, it is now becoming less so. It's becoming nullified. Tell me about this Five of Wands in reverse. Where's the Five of Wands in reverse, please? Thank you. Queen of Pentacles. So Six of Pentacles just fell out to the side there as well. And we've got the Ten of Wands, right? The burden of staying where you are at the moment is too much. Oh, and we have a Ten of Swords as well. Pisces, you sense the end. you sense an end, or maybe perhaps a number of endings, and now it's time to shift, and now it's time to move. And you have been feeling very conflicted about it, but actually when we drill down into this, the seat of the conflict is this even your Five of Cups? Is this you worrying about what other people will feel like they've lost if you leave? Maybe. Could see it going either way. But there's the Queen of Pentacles come out, right? The more that you concentrate on what it is that you want, and this is a queen that indicates her own personal comfort, and actually, as I was saying to my Pisces client the other day, there's no question of Pisces putting themselves out of their comfort zone being an issue, because the whole of 2020 was about Pisces being out of their comfort zone, like you wheeled around everywhere other than where you were comfortable. It was an incredibly disruptive year for you. So at this point, pushing yourself out of your comfort zone is actually about following your own comfort. What makes you feel better about anything, like you individually, not everybody else, you. This is about the caring of you, the nurturing of you. It's about pulling that energy back to you. It is the second time that we've seen this Queen of Pentacles here, and she is for me the self-care queen. You know, she's just chilling there, all naked, rubbing herself all over with a pentacle. Who knows what these earth women do, right? But she's the epitome of taking care of herself. And it seems to me, Pisces, that your individual everything is starting to become more important than it ever has done before. And the more you lean into this, the more it has to be about you. So where you were very conflicted, now you are not. Right? Now it's all starting to make a bit of, well, at least a bit more sense. Not complete sense, but more sense, right? Follow your comfort. Look for the things that make you comfortable, because that's where you need to be headed. Now, speaking of which, we come into your, what is coming in for you in February. And this is fascinating because we've got the Moon and we have the Chariot. Absolutely extraordinary combination. It's the card of, they're both cards of Cancer, actually, which is interesting. You may have a Cancer person around you, maybe important, but actually it feels much more about you. The Moon is all about the things that are hidden, right? If the Sun is consciousness, and that's the way that I read it often, then the Moon is the subconscious, the non-conscious, the things that are going along underneath that you are not aware of, right? But for me, it seems like what you're trying to do is pull a sense of self out of what is hidden, what is currently shrouded in illusion, right? That Chariot card there, the horse has a moon right on its forehead. Obviously, we've got the moon up in the sky there. It's all about kind of embodying the magic of the moon and bringing it right here to you, to yourself. Because the Chariot is the card of the self for me, right? It's about integration. It's about taking all the elements of the moon here and combining them with all the elements of the sun, because remember, it talks about polarities, it talks about balance and duality, taking them all and bringing them together to a point of integration so that you can move forwards, so that you can have confidence. And this horse is such a powerful animal. I love this depiction of the Chariot. I think it's awesome, not least because we've gone from the usual trio that you see in this group. So we've got the Charioteer in the middle, and then you usually got the two Sphinxes. It's pulled it all into one, right? So the beasts of burden, as the Sphinxes usually are, right? Both trying to go off in opposite directions, are here, contained within the horse. There's the power to pull the Chariot. But the Charioteer too, the one who directs with the power of his mind, the direction of the animals, these micro adjustments that he does on the animals here to get them to go in a straight line. He too is here in the mind of the horse. It's pulling all of your power together and making it about your will, right? There's a tremendous empowerment implied here. But it's something that you've kind of got to dig deep for. Now the reason why it's here is because your end has not fully ended yet, right? There's something of the transitional stage about where you are, Pisces. You can sense an end, you can sense completion, right? We saw that with those 10s that were there. But these are minor arcana 10s, right? These are miniature cycles. This is on the micro level. This is on the macro level. This is something much, much bigger. The end of the cycle that is coming into view is one where you are not at the whim of everybody else. It's where you take your will and you choose which way you are going to go. And you go there, right? But it's not quite here yet. And part of that is because you have not yet addressed the fact that you absolutely do not take care of your own needs, right? Now I'm hoping with this Queen of Pentacles showing her face here, lending this grounding energy to you, that there is something of the self-interest that's going to start appearing. And I mean this in the highest possible sense. I'm not talking about being selfish. I'm talking about the ability to put yourself first and take care of your own needs, because they don't get taken care of by anybody else, and frankly, they shouldn't have to be anyway. Okay. There are no people out there who will look after you as well as you look after other people, right? Because it's just second nature to you. But it's important for you to realise that where you are at the moment doesn't serve your needs, right? It's not got your highest interests in mind. And I think until you do, that this world card here is going to stay in the reverse, right? But we've got some small inkling of it here with the Page of Pentacles. This is the possibility of a new start, right? The pages all kind of newly discover things. And look, he's got that pentacle there, that more grounded energy here in the 3D. It's kind of looking at it, it's like, wow, this is incredible. I want to make more of these pentacles. I want to do something with this pentacle. It's about knowing what's important, right? And you are starting to realise, you're starting to get a sense that you are important and that you need to form the basis of any decision that comes next. Tell me about this world in reverse, please. Yeah. See, we've got the Four of Cups followed by the Ace of Cups. There is somewhat of a rejection that needs to occur here by you to your circumstances, but there's always also a sense of you having been rejected in some way or another, right? And this might be in a really broad way. That point at which you decided as a child that your feelings weren't important and everybody else's were, right? Or it may be from a relationship that occurred, with your family, with your friends, with a significant other, something over maybe 2020, something like that. But this Ace of Cups speaks specifically to a renewal here for you. And it's one that puts you front and centre, right? It's a cleansing away of the old. And truly, understanding your own pain, being able to separate your own pain away from everybody else's is a really important part of that. We've got the Nine of Wands at the bottom of the deck here, which is about boundaries. This is something that we need to talk about often, Pisces, because boundaries are not something that you do naturally very well, right? And it's one of the beautiful things about your energy. But in order to start keeping you safe and start pulling that power back to you, boundaries are necessary. I said this in the 2021 overview for your sign. There is an incredible concentration of Piscean energy that is boiling up around, that I can feel it starting to happen now. Because as you put these boundaries in place and you start paying attention to your needs and what works for you, all of that energy that you usually just let drift around everybody else is kind of coming in here, right? And you can direct it in a way that you have not been able to before. It's maybe harnessing that energy a little bit, for sure, Tell me about the Page of Pentacles, please. Flying off over there. Yeah. We've got the Five of Swords in reverse, yet another inverted 5. Thank you. And the Six of Swords. I think I often see the Five of Swords as somewhat of a cognitive loop. It's kind of getting stuck in the same way of thinking about things. Now, with it in the reverse here, and particularly with it underneath this Five of Pentacles and this Page of Pentacles here, you see where your thinking has been a bit off, right? And this could come by way of, you know, just a pure epiphany. But it doesn't feel quite as sudden as that. It feels like how can I describe it? Observation. There's a detachment about your energy in February that allows you to look at situations with people and your relationships with people and see how, perhaps to a degree, there has been extraordinary forgiveness on your part over and over and over again. So much so that it's just a natural act and you expect nothing of anyone. And when they deliver nothing, you forgive them for it and it's all fine, you know. I think because you're looking for it, you will see it more clearly than you ever have before. And it is what helps you to make that decision to move away, to move beyond what it is that you got here. And look, in this card, it is a solitary person in a boat. There's usually 3 in that boat, you know, on a standard depiction. Here's just the one, you know. There's movement ahead for you, Pisces, and it's in... It could well be a physical movement. It could be a geographical location. It could be a removing yourself from a group of people that you realise are actually no good for you. But it could be a cognitive shift. It could be about the way that you see the world and the way that you view how you should be in the world, right? It's almost kind of making a judgment. And this conviction will get stronger and stronger the more you start to pull your energy back to you, right? It's almost like you have no idea how powerful you are because you don't actually at any point really examine your own energy. You just let it free, let it wander out there. If you could gather it all together and put it in one place, it would startle you. And I think that I mentioned this in the 2021 reading as well. Like, it really pisses me off when readers act like Pisces is a really wishy-washy sign, because it's not. It really isn't. It shows an absolute lack of comprehension of the magnitude of Pisces energy when they denigrate it that way. But the thing is, you sort of do it too, right? You have no idea how powerful you are, but you are going to get a sense of it, right? And it starts in February. It grows from February, I have to tell you that. But this is very, very important. And if you take nothing else away from this reading, take that mindfulness, take that desire to, you know, just detachedly observe other people, and start thinking about how this relates to you moving forwards. Right, I'm going to leave it there, Pisces. If you are interested in looking at the extended, and we're going to pull this apart a little bit and look at it a little bit more, then the link is down in the description. As I said, the 2021 video is down there in the description too. But know that I love you all very, very much, and I will see you soon.